Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. The Philadelphia Eagles, after their late season collapse last year, they have a 10 and a
Wait.
half.
Let's bring Mike in quick. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's get Mike in. Where's Mike?
Hey, Mike.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey.
There you
Yo,
go.
is your camera on?
See me?
Froze. It froze.
This is what happened to Drock, too. What's going on?
Are you on the camera, Mike?
It's just a black screen.
Oh, now we kind of can. You're a
Now
little
we can.
blurry, but that's all right because
Good.
no, we can see you. I can see that pretty
play.
face of yours. How we doing, brother?
Pretty good. How was the golf tournament?
It was good, dude. It was good. We had almost 80 people come out and play. We were able to raise a lot for charity, the Valerie Fund, which if you weren't there, I mean, Colin made an awesome speech about it. And there's going to be a YouTube video coming out too for anyone listening at this point, so you can kind of feel like you were there even though you weren't there. I know you would have been there if you were back being a big golfer yourself, but overall, smashing success.
There we go. It was hybrids, right?
Yeah, my team came in dead last. We finished plus 14, but you know what? We were just honest. Most honest team, some would say, you know?
You guys were
God
minus
bless that
5,000 odds to be the worst team before the outing started. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I hammered
I like
it.
the sound of that. There we go.
Yeah.
All right,
well,
Mike, are you ready for us to shit on the 2023 Eagles, but for me to gas up the 2024 Eagles for you?
Fine by me.
All right. 10.5 win total. Some key losses. Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, big losses. Hassan Reddick, another big loss. DeAndre Swift, it's fine. Kevin Byard didn't really produce the level, and Shaq Leonard didn't really produce the level that they expected. He adds Bryce Huff, Saquon Barkley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's back, Devin White, Mekhi Becton as a backup offensive lineman. I think it's a little sneaky if you get him to work with that Eagles O-line coach. Reagan, 10.5 win total for the Philadelphia Eagles. Do they bounce back after that terrible ending to the 2023 season?
They certainly do. I got them going 12-5, winning the division. They're gonna get the tiebreaker over the Cowboys. I'm drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid. I'm buying into the Kellen Moore stock. I'm buying into the Vic Fangio stock. I mean, they added a ton of guys in the offseason to improve the defense. I mean, obviously, drafting guys like Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell, I'm going to say it now, my defensive rookie of the year pick.
Oh,
Love the guy. I think he was
Let's
a
go.
steal at where he got him. I mean, it's just Howie doing Howie things. Like, that was the guy he was talking about trading up for. Still gets him. And then DeJean falls in his lap, a hybrid guy like that. Who
hold on, Reagan.
I actually...
You think that Quignon's going to start right away at boundary?
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to...
Do you think Bradbury will then be a cap casualty?
Yes, I do. I 100% do. I don't know how a guy like that doesn't start. I mean, I think they're gonna they gotta get rid of some guys, and Bradbury's getting up there in age. I mean, he's clearly not the level he once was, and I just think to me he's just the odd guy out. You don't draft back-to-back cornerbacks. Whether or not they use DeJean this year as a corner, I don't think they will. I think they'll use him more of as a hybrid safety corner type. I just don't see how he's on the roster, and I agree with you. Cap casualty there. Super excited for him and those two guys. Bryce Huff, phenomenal pickup. Phenomenal. And I mean, the fact that you not only that, you got rid of Reddick, who I think Huff can step right in and put up the same production. And you got a pick. I mean, I don't know what the hell you're doing, Joe Douglas. Like, yeah, let's just let him walk.
Yeah,
then let's go trade for a older, more expensive option who maybe he's more productive. But in my opinion, even if Huff's slightly less productive, I'd rather have him for cheaper and younger. Made no sense to me. So Howie doing Howie things, taking advantage of little bro Joe Douglas. Didn't love that at all. But the defense, and then Devin White, big on him. I know the numbers might discredit him, but you know what? It's a 1-year deal, 1-year prove it deal. I mean, he's a guy that we've seen be elite at times. I mean, going back to, we were talking about Shaq Barrett before in his elite season. Like, Devin White's had some really good seasons early on. So if he can come back to any type of that form, I think this defense could be in a great spot. And obviously the D-line's stacked. They've been drafting guys from Georgia every year, it seems like, between Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They still got Nolan Smith, I know. So they got some studs there.
Last year, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, bro. Like, if these guys start to pan out, like, it's going to be scary. So I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And then offensively, I think Hurts bounces back. I know he had a lot of turnovers last year. I mean, 15 picks for a guy like that should never happen. I mean, he's not throwing the ball enough for me to want him to be throwing the ball that many interceptions. But I think Saquon's going to open up a lot for him, and I think Kellen Moore will be able to unlock him more. So just really excited for this team. But I'm curious your guys' thoughts.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so obviously losing Kelsey, that's big. But kind of this year, Eagles has always had the powerhouse O-line, offensive line, defensive line. And, it's kind of a question mark this year. Who's going to start at right guard? That's a big one. I know they got Becton on a 1-year deal, but, Matt Hennessy, the guy they picked up from the Falcons. They also got Tyler Steen, 3rd-round pick last year. So It's definitely not one of the strong suits as, previous years, but that's going to be interesting who kind of takes that right guard spot, because the left side is, you got Mailata, you got Dickerson, you got Juergens. I think Juergens can step up and play center, but, filling in for Jason Kelsey, that's literally impossible to play as well as him. But, and the D-line, Nolan Smith didn't really turn out. Well, he didn't really play a lot, so it's kind of hard to gauge that one. But Bryce Huff, Howie Roseman loves to get young guys with high sacks on the D-line, kind of fill them in. Reddick was flipped for a 3rd round. That could change into a 2nd. So, there's not a lot of depth. I love to see Jordan Davis kind of step up. Jalen Carter's an animal. That's going to be fun to see his next year. Milton Williams, kind of 3rd-string guy. Like you said, Fletcher Cox did retire. So there's a lot of young guys on this D-line, but I'm excited to see, who's going to take the next step.
And I'm curious, Mike, what do you have? What are you projecting your Eagles to do this year? Like what's their ceiling and what's their floor in your books?
Ceiling? It's got to be Super Bowl. This roster is just too good. I will say last year losing 2 coordinators, that is very hard to replace. Shane Steichen, who sleeper this year, I could see Coach of the Year.
I like that call. I like that call a lot.
So, and then Jonathan Gannon, I went to the Eagles-Cardinals game, and it was tough watching that one, but both good coaches. I'm excited for Kellen Moore. I'm a fan of him, but I do want to see him and Jalen Hurts mesh. There's a little tension between Sirianni and Hurts right now, but Vic Fangio I'm excited for, the godfather of, the modern-day defense. So I'm excited for the coordinators, and, Colin, I'm excited for that guy Saquon.
I was just waiting on that one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say some things that are really going to hurt my heart. Before I get into it, though, I am very bullish on the Eagles this season. It pains me to say it. I have them at 13-4.
Wow.
I think they're actually going to be really good. And the biggest thing for me was although they started 10-1 last year, it just didn't look right, but they were still winning games.
It was like from the first drive, in the Patriots game, I was like, this is not the right, something's going on, Screen passes, you got Olamide Zaccheaus running slant routes. Like, what are we doing here?
No, and that was a big problem with the offense.
Yeah, I went to a 2021 Eagles-Panthers game in Charlotte, and it was one of the worst showings I've ever seen, like play calling, and that was Sirianni. So I definitely want to see Hurts and Kellen Moore kind of do their thing together.
Yeah, I'll say Sirianni is certainly in the hot seat this year, but I do think he cools that off, and they have a really good season. I'm really bullish on the Eagles because of their upgrades at coordinator. Yeah, I think Kellen Moore is certainly an upgrade. I don't think he'll be what Shane Steichen was this team in 2022, but I'm more so bullish on Vic Fangio. He's one of the best defensive minds in football. He has been for decades. And he was an advisor to this defense in 2022 when they led the league in sacks, and they had a disgusting defense and went to the Super Bowl and barely lost to the Chiefs. So Vic Fangio coming back and calling the shots, I think, is huge for this defense that was really bad last year. Yes, the offense regressed. Jalen Hurts struggled. He clearly had something wrong with his leg. He was holding the ball a lot. He was bad under pressure. He was throwing a lot of checkdowns. It just didn't look pretty. They still found a way to win games initially, and then it all fell apart. But that defense was terrible. The secondary was terrible. Darius Slay, huge step back. James Bradbury, an even bigger step back. Vic Fangio is going to help this defense a ton. They don't have the depth on the D-line that they used to have, but it's still going to be good. I mean, their pass rush dropped from number 1 in 2022 to number 23 in 2023, and that's just simply not good enough. Jalen Carter needs to continue to take that next step and be more of a three-down player. Jordan Davis does. Jalen Carter's a stud. I love Bryce Huff, had 10 sacks and 8th in ESPN's pass rush win rate last year. Huge. Brandon Graham is clearly, I think this is going to be his last year. He only had 3 sacks last year. Josh Sweat, 6.5, a step back. They're both in the final years of their deals. So I would like to see Nolan Smith. He only played 188 snaps last year, had 1 sack, be that third guy and really step up. They revamped their linebacker room. They probably had some of the worst linebacker play in football last year. Although I'm not a huge Devin White guy, he's a little streaky. He can make big plays. He can force turnovers. He can rush the passer, which I think helps. Oren Burks is solid, all right. Nakobe Dean just hasn't really played a lot. I don't know. But I think just having Vic Fangio, this defense will be a lot better. Obviously, Howie Roseman knew that secondary needed help. Reagan already touched on adding Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I actually think Cooper DeJean is going to be better than Quinyon this year. He played in the MAC, and he did allow 9 completions of 10-plus yards downfield in the MAC. So I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment transition in the NFL, but the tools are there. I just think DeJean is a better athlete, and instead of playing boundary corner, which is more difficult, he'll kind of play that hybrid rover role in the slot potentially and have more of an impact. To go back to the offense real quick, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, dogs. Goddard, he's underrated. Last year wasn't his best year. He did come back from an injury, but he's clearly the third option there. You touched on the offensive line, Mike. Johnson, Mailata, and Dickerson are all Pro Bowlers, but if Juergens can't step into Kelsey's shoes and at least be good, because Kelsey was the leader as the center of that offensive line, it could be an issue. How good is a tush push going to be with Juergens instead of Kelsey?
Yeah, we got to see that.
Well,
and then
squats a ton and can just push him from
Kelsey's
back.
Kelsey's been holding it down since 2012, so I got to see Juergens kind of stepping in his own. He's got to step up.
Yeah, but hey, Kelsey handpicked him. He scouted him, and he said that's the guy that's going to replace me. So you kind of got to you kind of got to trust his judgment.
Jeff Stoutland University never fails.
And then it's a battle for right guard. We'll see who wins it, And I hate to say this, Saquon Barkley's going to fucking eat in this.
Oh my god, it's gonna. So I'm a Saquon fan since Penn State. When he went to the Giants, which he never should have, they should have taken Quentin Nelson.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't be a fan of him.
No, they should have taken Josh Allen.
No, they should have taken Sam Darnold. So the Jets could have gotten Quentin Nelson.
I will say it's finally nice to be a Saquon fan again. Oh, yeah. It's so nice.
I'll say this. I still have him on one fantasy team because no one's giving me a good offer, and I know he's going to be a top 5 running back if he stays healthy. The Eagles offensive line in the last 2 seasons have ranked 3rd and 1st in yards before contact per RB rush, right? So they're opening up a lot more run lanes. They can get a full head of steam. The Giants over that stretch were bottom 3 in the league both years. And also they have one of the easiest run defense schedules this year. They're playing a lot of teams that did not stop the run last year, according to Sharp. So combine that with actually having 2 legit weapons out wide, which Barkley hasn't had a legitimate other weapon in the offense since his rookie year with OBJ. The offensive line play, which even without Kelsey is still anything way better than what he had with the Giants. If he stays healthy, he's going to eat. And I also think this, Jalen Hurts' rushing touchdowns will go down a little bit this year because for some reason, DeAndre Swift loved getting tackled the 1-yard line last year. I think Barkley's going to convert more of those into touchdowns.
Yeah. It was always Hurts apologizing to Swift. They're like the offensive line just apologizing like, yeah, you got it to the 1, but yeah, we can't do anything about that. So.
I know. And they're going to keep running the tush push. It's going to happen. But Barkley, I think, will convert more of those runs from 5 to 15 yards out into touchdowns than Swift did. And yeah, I think Barkley's going to eat this year. I hate to say it, but I think he's going to eat. So I got 13-4. Reagan, who's your MVP?
Yeah, it's Hurts to me. I mean, he's a guy that I called the breakout the season it happened. I was telling Mike, actually, I was like, dude, like this guy is going to win the MVP this year. And Mike's like, look, man, like I'm an Eagles fan, don't get me wrong, but yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see what you see. I don't think this guy's going to be an MVP this year. And sure enough, he finished second. And I think if he didn't get injured, he would have won the MVP over Mahomes. But missing the last 2 games, I believe it was. And then last year,
he got hurt in the Bears game, and then it was Cowboys, Saints. He came back for the Giants. So
yeah, he missed 2 games at the end, and exactly. So he was the favorite to win MVP before going down at that point, but I got crazy value on him. But and then last year, obviously, he took a big step back. We talked about it before. 15 interceptions isn't great. I mean, what do you have? 23 passing touchdowns. Obviously, the numbers are a little skewed. I mean, hey, 15 rushing touchdowns is 15 rushing touchdowns, but without actually looking at the numbers, it's not as impressive as you think.
When you push 12 times.
Yeah, so the 23 passing touchdowns to 15 interceptions, that's not MVP numbers, let alone top half quarterback numbers. Like he really didn't play like a top 16 quarterback last year. If you take out the tush pushes, it's not a good season, let alone an MVP season. So I think he needs to step up. I think getting Saquon will help out for that. I think a new offensive coordinator will help out with that. So I fully expect him to return to the MVP level. And I think he is a guy I'm going to throw a little bit of money on to win MVP. I really do think he could get it done again this year or officially get it done. But
yeah, I also have Jalen Hurts. I won't bet on him because I will not bet on an Eagle, but I kind of like the play, Reagan. I kind of like the play.
Mm-hmm. Mike, who's your MVP for the Eagles this year?
I mean, it's got to be Saquon or it's got to be AJ Brown.
All right.
Yeah, AJ Brown's trainer came out. He said this is the best. This is the most in shape he's ever been. So we remember last year, 5 games, 125 each.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he was a beast.
I gotta go. I think Saquon's gonna open up the offense so much that AJ Brown. Well, Devontae got paid, so AJ Brown's just gonna do what he did last year. So I gotta go AJ Brown here.
Yeah, X Factor, Reagan.
And I will say one more point to Mike and also X Factor. Like teams ain't looking at DeAndre Swift like they're looking at Saquon. Like the name alone just scares teams way more. Like whether or not Saquon's significantly more productive in this offense, it doesn't matter. The name alone is just terrifying. But yeah, my X Factor, I might go with Cam Jurgens, man. Like just like you guys were talking about before, like he's going to be stepping into a huge role here, not only for the tush push, but just the whole overall offense. Like he's going to be the leader of it. Can he step in and shore up that 4th spot where maybe they only have one hole at their left guard or right guard?
Yeah, right.
Wait, what is the right guard? Yeah, sorry. So maybe their only hole is at right guard. So if he's able to step in and just like, he won't be Kelsey level, but if he's even close to that, where it's not like they're skipping a beat. I think the sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, I got the secondary as a whole, the entire unit. They got lit up so bad last year, it was embarrassing. If that unit can return to form, if Darius Slay can return to form, if these rookies can pop off, if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson can stay healthy and play like he did in Philly 2 years ago, this defense will be so much better because they do have the talent on the defensive line to get home. You just got to give them a little bit more time, and they'll return more to that 2022 form. You agree with me, Mike? Secondary?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are overlooking Isaiah Rodgers not coming back or coming back. He was suspended gambling last year, so he missed all of last year.
Tough blow.
So comes back this year. I think he's going to be the X Factor. Or I'd even go Howie Roseman. I mean, what that guy's doing is just unheard of. $24 million right now going into the season. What do you guys think he's going to do with that? Address anything?
I think he's going to wait. I think he's going to see where he's at in the deadline and see if he can try to add a big name that's a little disgruntled. Yeah. Something along the lines and go for like an all-in type of season.
You almost have
to. That's what he does. You remember 2017, Jay Ajayi for a 3rd-round pick. I was screaming like, we don't need another running back. And he turned out, had 70 yards rushing in the Super Bowl, was a big-time player in the Falcons game, NFC Championship. So, yeah, I think Howie Roseman is going to kind of go all in this year. It's kind of clock's ticking for a chip.
I mean, or a middle linebacker would be my guess, because obviously they drafted the kid out of Notre Dame, and then they signed Devin White. But I mean, let's not forget, man, they got freaking cooked against the Bucks, and Cade Otton looked like a top 5 tight end. So that would be somewhere where I could see them addressing. Is trying to get out there and getting a big name at the trade deadline, even though it didn't work out last year with Leonard. And obviously, we don't know if it'll work out with White, but it's still a glaring need. And
they also drafted Jeremiah Trotter out of Clemson. He fell to the 5th round, but he was a highly touted recruit, but he never lived up to it though. Like he had a really bad tackle percentage at Clemson, and I believe he was a 5-star recruit. He was certainly a 4, but he just didn't live up to that. That's why he slid.
What are you saying, Mike?
Is a legacy pick. His dad played there. He was there. I mean, why not take it?
All right, Depoy.
Ooh.
I got Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter can have double-digit sacks this season. I think 10 is the number for him from the interior, which is a really impressive number. And I think he is really vital in the middle of that defense, especially if Jordan Davis doesn't get in better shape and can play 3 downs.
I'm going to go with Quinion, man. Call me bought in, man. He's winning that job. He's going to be one of the starting corners. He's getting 5 interceptions this year, and he is winning the Rookie of the Year, the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I am buying Quinion stock right now. It's freaking July 22nd, and I'm giving you a lock, and I ain't even Drock. All right?
There we go.
But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this guy. I'm pissed the Eagles got him, and I know he's going to be good. You know he's going to be good. They always are good. They always fall to Howie, and they always end up being good. Always. 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 But, Mike, I'm curious. What do you got?
I got Jalen Carter.
That
guy's an animal, you know.
My boy agrees with me. Let's go. All right, Rookie of the Year. You said Quinion. I got Cooper DeJean. I said it earlier. I think he's going to have more of an impact than Quinion, actually. And I love his game. He's going to have a Swiss Army knife type of role. I think he forces 4 turnovers this year.
I mean, hey, man, I could see him getting a pump. If they, I don't know. I haven't been looking into it a lot, but I'd imagine they're going to use him on special teams as well. So I'd imagine, Mike, you think that they'll use him as a kick returner or punt returner? What's the buzz been? Because I would definitely.
I would hope so. Like, he's just such an insane athlete. Right now, they have Britton Covey returning kicks.
I mean, bro, I wouldn't even be surprised if they use him as like in some offensive packages either.
Offense, I like that. Yeah.
I remember Dory Jackson when he was on Tennessee. I mean, they were coming up with some stuff for him offensively, so I would not be shocked at all. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's still Quinion if we're gonna go the Rookie of the Year. But you can make a case for DeJean as well. Just both guys are gonna, I think, be big impacts day one. Who do you got, Mike?
I'd go Quinion too, just because. You know, Bradbury was so ass last year that, you know, you need someone across from Slay. I'd probably go Quinion. That's my guy.
Fair.
Word up. All right, Mike. Appreciate you joining us to talk about your Philadelphia Eagles, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
talk
sir,
to you
Mike.
later.
All right.
Yeah, Mike. Thanks again, brother.
Well,
all right, Reagan.
Dave, you coming in with your lock or no?
Yeah. Drock, where you at?
Oh, he's back. His face. He's muted though, so.
Jock, you're muted, man.
He's so cute when he does it.
Damn, I did the Halloween teaser when I hopped in and go, boo. Yeah, no. I think we're gonna have to roll with who did I have for the Eagles? Oh yeah, unfortunately, but Colin and I did discuss this before. Dude, that Saquon 1,050 yards is just so low at plus money, man. Like, I'm gonna burn the fuck out of his jersey, but god damn it, if I were to be betting on something for the Eagles this year, it'd probably be Saquon Barkley's rushing yards. And I'm sure Colin's statmatician over there said it all, but like everything's lining up for him to fucking get what he needs to do to get 1,000 yards if he stays healthy. So.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's my explanation there. I'm not betting it. Drock will not be betting it. He would be fading it if he had to put money on it. But like for those who are out there that do follow Drock, it's gonna be Saquon Barkley's rush.
So my biggest issue with that, Dave, is just, I mean, come on, man. Like, we're not gonna encourage burning jerseys out here.
Please do not call me Dave.
And the only reason I would even call you that is I just got to get serious with you, man. I mean, talking about burning jerseys, like, we're not going to encourage pyro works. I mean, you can always donate the jersey. I'm sure there's a kid out there that maybe doesn't have a lot of clothes. So I'm sure there's a young fan that, hey, maybe never had a Giants jersey before and would love to have a Saquon jersey, even if it's a hand-me-down. So please don't burn the jersey. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he's definitely a shoo-in for the Giants Ring of Honor, I'd imagine at this point, right? So, but no, all jokes aside, I do like that pick. I will definitely be throwing money on it if you guys are, because you know
No,
what?
I'm not touching that shit.
I ain't a hater. So if the boys are riding with it, but I do think that's a good pick. I really do.